Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Well, as everyone has already heard, my name is Stacey Osorio. I'm one of the customer success leaders at Cresta, and really appreciate you all taking the time to listen to our fireside chat. But if you're not familiar with Cresta, we're a customer experience platform that works with enterprise customers like Acorns, and I have the pleasure of sharing the stage with Trish Vogler, who leads customer support systems and tooling at Acorns. Before we dive in, Trish, can you share a little bit about yourself and what you do at Acorns?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Trish Vogler. I'm the support systems and tools lead at Acorns, as Stacy said. I work on helping to ensure that our customers and agents both have a seamless experience. I've been at Acorns for about 5 years, but have spent my career in the financial services industry. Yeah, I'm just excited to share how Cresta has helped us.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Trish. What I really wanted to dive into first is something that's always stood out to me about our partnership. One of the first things that your team shared with us pretty early on is that when it comes to scaling support for Acorns, what you early identified was that it wasn't an operational challenge, but it was a trust challenge. Can you talk me through a little bit about how you all identified that and what were some things that you looked out for?
Yeah, for a lot of companies, scaling quickly means standardization. That sounds benign, but the reality of standardizing across hundreds or even thousands of frontline agents usually means scripts and rigid rules about what you can say and do. When empowering someone to solve problems creatively means introducing a potential risk multiplied by the number of agents, company leadership starts to feel like it's too high a cost to allow. The benefits of that path are that you can hire and train quickly, there's reduced ramp time, and the risk that the agent will do something off-brand or out of compliance is lower. But the drawbacks are you get the kind of customer service that customers don't actually like. Disempowered agents who recite company policy and don't or can't take full ownership of your problem and ensure it's resolved. Acorns as a brand is customer obsessed. Everything we do is built around the best interest of the up-and-coming investors we serve. That had to extend to support. So we needed to course correct away from the route with scripts and rigidity. We started deploying AI support features that would quickly solve some common low-level issues before they reached the support team. If the future of human-to-human support interaction is basically high-complexity issues that need skilled agents with good judgment, and the leeway to truly solve the problem, our focus had to be on tracking sentiment and outcomes. Do our customers feel positively about the process of interacting with our agents? Or are we leaving them satisfied that their issue is or will be resolved? If either of those questions leans no, then we're in trouble no matter how compliant the agent is to a standardized workflow. Cresta is helping us find where to target improvement efforts, like giving agents additional tools to resolve problems in place, and encouraging them to do right by the customer while also enabling us to keep guardrails on behaviors we flagged as a risk.
Thank you for sharing all that, Trish. I think one of the things that I really wanted to dive into as well is like you mentioned customer sentiment and satisfaction. We work with a lot of customers who are trying to better enhance their CSAT and survey process. When it comes to thinking about understanding your customers, can you talk me through a little bit about what that looks like for you all?
Yeah, when we looked at our current feedback, there was a massive blind spot we needed to address. Currently, our traditional survey response rate hovers between 7 and 8%. While that data is useful, it simply isn't a large enough representation of the thousands of customer conversations we have every single day. Relying solely on manual processes or CSAT surveys means we're often just hearing from the loudest voices, the outliers, leaving us with a small and often biased sample. That's where the Cresta platform changes the game. By using Cresta's conversation intelligence, we can finally move past intermittent snapshots and gain 100% coverage of our customer interactions. It surfaces specific behaviors, hidden instances, and real-time sentiment that would otherwise stay invisible. One of the most transformative tools in our arsenal is the AI analyst. In the past, digging for specific insights meant hours or sometimes even days of manual research, combing through transcripts and spreadsheets to find a single needle in the haystack. Now we can ask a specific question and get an instant summary of data backed by actual conversation examples. But the AI analyst doesn't just prove our existing theories, more importantly, it disproves our assumptions. It cuts through the vibes and anecdotal evidence, allowing us to stop chasing ghosts and start focusing on the real issues and behaviors that actually impact our customers. customers. Cresta helps reduce guesswork and is enabling us to operate with more clarity. More importantly, it expands our search. It gives us the quantitative data we need to back up our qualitative insights. This isn't just about feeling like we need to improve, it's about having the hard evidence required to gain traction with other teams and drive meaningful company-wide improvements. We're moving from guessing based on a few to knowing based on the many.
I know with Cresta, there's so much data that you're digging into, and you mentioned finding a needle in a haystack. There's so much information that your team can comb through, leverage AI analyst. What I want to understand a little bit more is as you were combing through that data and identifying those themes, what were some of the top call drivers that helped you better understand what your agent or your customers were saying about Acorns?
Yeah, when we talk about uncovering the real drivers of satisfaction, the biggest surprise wasn't necessarily a single data point. It was how much our previous assumptions were actually challenged. Before this platform, we spent our time hunting for individual errors, essentially looking for bad calls. Instead of spending our time hunting for individual errors, we are now identifying shared behaviors and broad business level trends. One of the most eye-opening shifts was realizing that what we thought were isolated incidents were actually broad team-wide trends. To give you a real-world example, the platform recently flagged an undesirable greeting that had become a habit across a large portion of our team. In the past, we might have caught one agent doing this and corrected them, never realizing it was actually a systemic issue. Because we could instantly see the top 10 agents using it, we didn't have to wait to catch this in 10 separate manual coaching sessions. Instead of correcting one person at a time, we actually retrained the entire group at once. This is the real power of the tool. It shifts our focus from tedious individual follow-ups to uncovering and addressing team-wide opportunities. It moved us from being reactive call checkers to being strategic leaders who improve performance at scale. But to truly unlock the value of the Cresta platform, we have to stop looking at it through a single lens. Cresta is most powerful when we treat it as a holistic source of information, one that connects the dots between agent behaviors and the actual why behind customer contacts. If we silo this into just QM tool for agent handling or just insights tool for customer sentiment, we miss the bigger picture. The real opportunity lies in using it to examine the entire end-to-end customer experience. It shows us not just how we're responding, but where the friction points are and where the untapped opportunities for improvement live.
One thing that I want to also just kind of dive into about the partnership, right? When you started working with Cresta, one of the things that you had really highlighted very early on in the partnership was not only wanting to drive operational efficiency, but how do you start to elevate that quality assurance as well along the way? You started talking about it a little bit with the QA process and how you started to coach your agents. Talk me a little bit through what that QA process or program involved beyond manual evaluations, because I know that's where you all started. How has Cresta helped you start to automate and think about that more transformatively in your contact center?
Yeah, focusing on behaviors is really important whether you're using a manual evaluation model or auto QA. We'd already redesigned our scorecards to more effectively track and promote positive behaviors, and we're eager to expand on that with Cresta's capability for automated review. Our program still uses traditional scorecards and manual auditing within Cresta QM, but we're in the process of incorporating auto QA of specific behaviors to give us a much broader view of what's happening in conversations. Since our QA team is really lean, we're only able to manually review 2 to 3 conversations per agent each week, which is just a tiny fraction of the total conversations agents are actually handling. We risk missing significant opportunities to improve just due to capacity constraints. With Cresta, we've built out new behavior tracking to start monitoring how often a customer needs to ask for a supervisor, if an agent appears to misunderstand the customer, if they're told they're speaking too softly or too fast, and more. We believe in the value of manual review for nuances or key elements the platform can't measure. For example, tone of voice or whether promised actions were actually taken by the agent. But behavior tracking in Cresta complements our program focus. The future for us is a hybrid model. Our QA reviewers will be able to focus solely on what we need a human in the loop for, which will increase their value, and Cresta will monitor for other key behaviors at a massively broader scale than we'd be able to achieve otherwise.
That's pretty fascinating. Your QA agents were doing anywhere from 2 to 3 manual reviews. And now being able to think about this hybrid approach where you have Cresta being able to automate a lot of that experience based on behaviors that you want your agents to be doing or not doing it's pretty phenomenal to see all of the progress and enhancements that you all have been able to make over the time. I'd love to kind of shift gears and start to think about there's a lot of pressure in the industry to want to automate and do it quickly. Talk me through a little bit about how yourself, Acorns, is thinking about introducing automation, but how do you avoid eroding like the trust that your brand has already built with your customers? What does that look like for you all?
Yeah, there's definitely immense pressure today to automate quickly, but for us, the question was never about how fast we could move. It was about how we could move without losing the trust our brand is built on. We didn't see AI as a way to step back from our customers, but as a way to see them more clearly. By automating the analysis of our conversations, we're actually more present than we were when we only heard from the 7 to 8% that responded to CSAT surveys. We resisted the urge to just like flip a switch just to say we did something. We intentionally delayed certain elements like the automated coaching because eroding trust happens when you launch just like a checkbox exercise that doesn't actually add any value. Brand trust is built on consistency, so we only launched what we were 100% confident would actually improve the experience. Ultimately, the Cresta platform actually acts as a safeguard for our brand trust. It allowed us to identify team-wide behaviors and fix them for the entire group immediately. That level of oversight ensures that no matter which agent a customer speaks to, they get the authentic brand experience they expect every single time.
I love the intentional approach that you all took. Being in customer success, we often see our customers wanting to quickly get something out the gate, and your approach of wanting to perfect the art of what does quality look like for your organization while also instilling that trust has been awesome to see as we partner together. We really want to ensure that you're not only elevating that customer experience where your agents feel comfortable, confident, being able to help support your customers, but also thinking about thoughtful ways to engage them and advise them on things that they could be doing better. I do want to end our time with one of the most recent initiatives that we've been working on together. And I know this is something that you're incredibly passionate about. We've talked about automation. How are you all introducing the thought of an AI agent? It is a very hot topic in the industry. What is it that you all are thinking about when it comes to non-negotiables and what you're really setting out to achieve with an AI agent and introducing that to your business?
Yeah, so at the core of our AI strategy is the goal of offering true optionality to our customers. We recognize that different situations call for different types of support. By introducing AI, we aren't forcing a single path. We're actually expanding the menu of how a customer can interact with us. Whether they want the speed and autonomy of a sophisticated voice AI for a quick resolution or the depth and empathy of a human agent for a complex issue, the issue remains in the customer's hands. Our role is to ensure that every option, automated or human, delivers the same high standard of service. For us, AI isn't about replacing the human experience, it's about providing our customers the flexibility to choose the journey that best fits their needs at that specific moment. The second biggest non-negotiable for us is a graceful exit. If the AI detects frustration or it's too complex of a use case for them to handle, it has to hand off to a human. Our customers should never feel like they're just shouting agent into a black hole. I know we've all been there, and that's a very frustrating experience. Third, for us to move from augmentation to automation, we require a zero hallucination threshold for policy-related questions. We would rather the AI say, let me connect you with a specialist who can help, than provide a confidently incorrect answer. Accuracy is the foundation of our brand's credibility. Fourth, the technology has to be sophisticated enough to mirror our specific empathy and tone. If the agent sounds cold or robotic or there's lots of latency, it erodes the relationship we've worked hard to build. It has to feel like a natural extension of our team, not just a cost-cutting shortcut. And a final non-negotiable is total visibility. We need to be able to monitor the AI agent's performance with the same conversation intelligence we use for our humans. If we can't see the sentiment and behaviors of the AI, we're not going to launch it. So our 5 non-negotiables are optionality, seamless cancellation, guardrails, maintaining voice and tone, and visibility and a feedback loop.
Trish, thank you so much. I know we're coming up on time. I know that this was supposed to be a fireside chat, and we did a little bit of a lightning round here where you shared a lot about what your team's working on. But if anyone is interested in wanting to learn more about what Acorns is doing and what Trish's team is doing or what Cresta is doing to help support them, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're at booth 8, so feel free to reach out. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.